各位航空最前线的读者们，大家好，我是小编建宏。虽然我们的刊物已经停刊了，但我们还是会利用我们的闲暇时间，到世界各地的航空展或航空博物馆走走，把全球的这个军用航空的历史与现况，透过拍摄影片或者写网志的方式介绍给大家。那今年4月，我们特别到了洛杉矶一趟，针对这个第8航空军，也就是真正代表美国陆军航空部队赢得第2次世界大战的部队成立80周年的纪念日，拍了这段小纪念纪录片，希望大家可以从中学到一些历史的故事或者是心得。这次在洛杉矶呢，我们访问了2位第8航空军的前辈，那他们分别是代表这个战斗机跟轰炸机的视角。那战斗机的前辈非常有名，他就是 Bud Anderson， 他是现在全美国剩下的最后一位3料王牌英雄。所谓的3料王牌，就是打下15架敌机以上的王牌飞行员。那我们都知道，王牌飞行员是5架就是王牌，10架就是双料，15架就是3料。那他总共打下了16.2架，所以他就是3料王牌，是一个不折不扣的英雄。二战时在357战斗机大队服役，驾驶的飞机是 P51B 跟 P51D 2款野马。那他同时也是我们人类历史上第一个飞过这个伊马赫的，就超音速飞行的叶格的好基友、好伙伴、好麻吉。那所以他的故事等等，就看我们的介绍，你们一定会觉得很精彩。另外一位是这个 B-17的机尾枪手 Larry Stevens， 他在2战的时候在第95轰炸机大队第412中队服务。那他并不是 B-17的飞行员，他其实是 B-17的机尾枪手。那他的目的呢，他的任务就是要在 B-17的机尾上面驾驶这个50机枪去迎击任何来试图击落他的座机的这个BF-109或 FW-190等战斗机。那他的这个视角也非常特别。第一个，他是一般的空勤人员，他不是飞行军官，那所以说他的角度跟 Bud Anderson 一定是不一样的。我们可以了解基层军人的想法是什么。第二个就是说，他在 B-17上面呢，人家是往前看，他是往后看。那他这个视角也一定跟我们想的会不太一样。那相信透过他的访问，也能让在台湾的各位了解到2战的美军作战，不要看他们那么豪华，其实也是非常辛苦的。但是我们也要知道说，其实2战的时候，这个第8航空军也存在这个战斗机跟轰炸机的本位主义之争。希望透过这一次的这个访谈，还有我们去 Chino 的这个世界明星博物馆 Plan of Fame 的参观，一一的跟各位读者们做介绍。好，我们就进节目咯。Yeah. So I like to ask some of your questions about your experience in World War II. Is that okay? Maybe you can talk about.
Sure.
Yeah, because you're triple ace. So, what was the reason for you to join the Army Air Force during World War II? After the Pearl Harbor?
Yeah. Well, when I was growing up, far back as I can remember, I wanted to fly. And I don't know why. I'm just a little guy, but I wanted to fly. And I grew up on a farm about 7 miles from here. And it was during the bad time, the Depression, before the war. And there was no way my parents could finance my dreams of flying. So I looked up and I got to join the military. So I found out I had to be 20 years old. I had to have 2 years of college, physically fit, and unmarried. So I'm getting out of high school, and I found a junior college in Sacramento. And my mother went to work after the Depression started because the farm was failing. And so she drove back and forth every day. Well, I could drive her to work and then go out to the junior college in Sacramento. The course that I went to taught me how, it was a technical school, and it taught me how to be an aircraft mechanic. So the Sacramento Air Depot was building up in Sacramento, a depot type of thing. So they were hiring anybody that could turn a wrench. So they hired our whole class, and they put us to work on the graveyard shift from midnight to dawn, you know, young kids. So worked there for about 6 months, and then we were working 24/7. And I had just gotten back on the day shift, and it was a Sunday. I don't know, it was later in the afternoon. The foreman came around all excited and got us all together and says, hey, the Japanese have just attacked us at Pearl Harbor. And where the hell is Pearl Harbor? I had no idea where Pearl Harbor was. And he says, hey, you guys, you butt ends, and go home now. Come back at midnight. And so I was still 19. The next month, January 1942, my birthday was in the middle of January. So I went right there to the recruiting station on the Sacramento depot. And a few days later, I raised my right hand, and I'm gone. That's how I got started.
Okay. So where did you get your training?
Oh. So immediately we went to what was Higley Air Force Base. No, not Army Airfield. Yeah. It was later Williams Air Force Base. We went there to get our shots and get our clothes and learn how to march. Stuff like that, about a month. And then I thought I'd go to Texas or Florida or someplace. I came back to California, San Diego, California. In those days, they were trying to train 225,000 pilots as soon as possible. And and don't let safety get in the way of progress. It's a sad statistic of World War II, but we killed more of our pilots in training than we did in combat. And that was to get it done as fast as possible. Don't worry about safety. So they were using organized flight schools, and they're civilians. I went to the Ryan School of Aeronautics, military flight instructors, and the whole base was military. First time. Then we flew the BT-13. You know what that looks like?
Yellow, right?
Yeah, gear down. No, simple airplane, 2-position prop. But it did have a canopy. The basic trainer, the primary trainer was the Ryan PT-22, which was open cockpit, no radio, and very simple. They were a monoplane, fixed gear, flaps, fixed prop. the instructor talked to you in a tube. And if you didn't pay attention, they'd stick it out in the air, you know, and it would really get your attention. After the BT-13, we had a large canopy indoors, you know, radio, fixed gear, those simple airplanes still. But then we started flying instruments in the back seat under the hood. Formation flying, night flying. And from there, we 3 months, we went to Luke Army Airfield. And that's modern air base today. And there we flew the military, all military. We flew the North American AT-6, Advanced Trainer AT. The Harvard, or the had two names. Harvard was one of them. Can't think of it. Another 3 months there, repeating instruments, formation flying, lots of that. And we actually fired the guns right at the end of the course at some ground targets. Reason I wanted to be a fighter pilot. I'm thinking about that now. Flying is great. I loved it, and I was doing okay. They need pilots everywhere. You know, cargo, bombers, fighters, trainers, instructors. So if you could convince your instructor that you might be a good fighter pilot, your chances were good of getting that assignment. So I don't know where the fighter pilot came in. I think probably watching newsreels of the Battle of Britain. But on the other hand, I thought, you know, if I'm in that airplane by myself, I'm the pilot, I'm the navigator, I'm the gunner, I'm the radio man, you know, everything. You didn't have to depend on 9 other people. And so besides that, I thought fighters look a lot cooler than bombers. So I got that assignment. I went to the San Francisco Bay Area to what was Hamilton Army Airfield, but with duty at Oakland Municipal Airport. We took over the where they came to pick up passengers, a terminal. We took over the terminal, lived there, had our operations in there, and they checked us out in fighters. We were there about 2 or 3 months, and then you went to war, go somewhere and fight the war. So there we flew the Bell P-39. That was the engine was actually right behind the pilot, right in the middle of the airplane, midship. And it had a long drive shaft that went under the floor here, all the way out to the nose of the airplane. And the whole nose of the airplane was open for a cannon system. And then there was a planetary gear around the prop, and that crankshaft went right into the bottom of it, into the planetary gear, and that allowed them to fire a cannon right through the center of the propeller. It had an automobile type of door, and pretty cozy. You could touch everything you needed, you know, just like that. And so from there, our 3 months came up, and they said, no, you're not, you, my peers, and you're not going overseas now. You're going to Tonopah, Nevada, and you're going to activate, they're going to be in a fighter group that's being activated for World War II. We'll be the first people in the group. So when we were getting ready to go, when my 3 months was up at Oakland, they said, you're not going to the war right now. You're going to go to a new fighter group that's being activated for World War II, 357th Fighter Group. And we'll train as a group and go overseas as a group. And that's the best way to do it when you do it, rather than go over as a single guy and be a new guy in the outfit. And so I don't know how far you want me to go on that.
Okay. And then so when did you get to Europe? So which air base?
How did I get to Europe?
Yeah. Which base you were there?
Yeah.
Which? Mm-hmm.
So when our team, we trained as a group. We picked up our pilots right out of flying school. We got mechanics and, you know, all the people to make a whole group that can run independently. And so we got on a train and headed to New York without knowing where we were going. And I can't remember when we got the word. Either it was on the boat or on the train. And we wondered where we would go as P-39 pilots. And, well, where are they? They're in the South Pacific or North Africa doing ground support. Well, we got somewhere in there. They said, hey, we're going to England, and we're going to get the brand new P-51 Bravo. And we were, oh my God. But we were kind of in shock because we hadn't even seen one, let alone fly one. And so we got on the second biggest, well, the sister ship of the Queen Mary, Queen Elizabeth. It's just as big as the Queen Mary. And we took off in the middle of the day, bright, sunny day, afternoon, going out, blowing the whistle, and the fireboats around us. I thought, oh my God, let's keep it quiet, you know. There's a ring of submarines out there somewhere. And we hadn't won the Battle of the Atlantic yet. And both of those huge ocean liners were going back and forth, all during the war. And it's a miracle that had to be a prime target. But they were so fast, I guess the submarines couldn't, you know, it'd have to be a miracle, you know, drive out in front of me, kind of a thing. I guess, I don't know. But they were big guys. God, that was a big boat. Had 15,000 troops on board. I think it was a whole fighter group and a infantry division. And our GIs, the enlisted people, they slept, so many of them, they slept 24 hours in the hold, down in the boat, and then 24 hours on the open deck. Now, been promoted to captain. So I got a honeymoon suite on the third deck with 17 other guys. We had bunks like that, just all in this suite. God, really crowded. And so we got to England.
All right, so you can talk about you can talk about from the 9th Air Force story again.
Oh yeah, okay. So the 8th Air Force was not doing a very good job of defeating the Luftwaffe, so they had a shutdown and decided to borrow the Pioneer Mustang group so it could stay with them wherever they wanted to go in Europe. And they were so wildly successful in defending the bombers that they said 8th Air Force demanded that they get P-51s. So we're the next unit. And so we were transferred to the 8th Air Force and moved to Leaston. Was Leaston or Leaston, I don't know how they pronounce it, and assigned to the 8th Air Force. And that meant I'll be escorting bombers. So the bomber pilots ran the 8th Air Force, and they ran the 8th Bomber Command and the Fighter Command. So the bomber pilots are telling us how to escort. They said, the bombers are going here, we want you to come on and be close. We want to see you. And when the enemy comes in, you drive them away and you come back. And we actually had an altitude, 18,000 feet. If you hadn't shot down the guy you're chasing, you had to break it off, come back up. Wasn't a way to do it, as we found out, but that's what we did. So we are activated and we're flying. Oh, and then they changed the commander of the 8th Air Force. And they put General Jimmy Doolittle. Everybody knows who Jimmy Doolittle is. Yeah. The Doolittle Raiders. And that's what I'm going to go to this afternoon, is the 75th anniversary. No.
80th.
80th. And they are going to have a meeting. There's no Doolittle Raiders left, so they ask a lot of veterans to come this afternoon together and celebrate this.
And that's how they connect us all together. Doolittle, he came after his raid. He landed in China, and that's how. And you were in Europe, but later he can command you. Yeah. So we all have connection right now. That's how.
He's my hero. So he took over the 8th Air Force, and he had really been talked to before he came over from the Chief of Staff. He says, your job is to defeat the Luftwaffe, nothing else. So he's a different kind of a guy. He's flown fighters and bombers, and so he came in and changed our tactics. He said that from now on, when you engage the enemy, you follow them to the ground and kill them. We're feeling so bad that they would fighting with your hand tied behind your back. And that, the spring of 1944, I think most of the historians agree that's when we broke the back of the Luftwaffe. And we did it by killing their experienced pilots, not by bombing the airfields and stuff on the ground. And I think it's proper to say that the arrival of Jimmy Doolittle and his change of tactics to pursue and destroy, and the arrival of the Mustang in Europe had a significant impact on the air war in Europe, and once allowed the invasion to proceed and the eventual downfall of Germany. I make it sound like fighter pilots won the World War II, but we certainly had a significant impact on it.